Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
And today we're going to talk about Trump. Go ahead there.
President Trump is the president of the United States and was elected in 2016, and there's another election now coming up in November of this year. And the media, from the time President Trump was elected, they have spent their time trying to find fault with him constantly. The Democratic Party have spent their time, instead of doing other work that's important when you're elected, has spent their time trying to impeach him and find all sorts of reasons about with the Russians and everything they can think of to try and stop him. So they have contributed to the agenda of this business of trying to destroy President Trump and the democratic process in the same way, because doing what they're doing interferes with the democratic process and doesn't respect the people that voted for them. Now, President Trump is the only world leader of any consequence, with the exception of the leaders of Poland and Hungary, who are Christian countries and support Christian and Catholic values against the onslaught of the secular media, which seems to have no obstacles in trying to destroy people that don't support their agenda. President Trump, as I say, is the only leader that's pro-life, and also pro the practice of religion in the US, and also in worldwide, where Catholics and Christians are continuously persecuted and in some cases discriminated against in an awful lot of countries, including this country, believe it or not, with the laws that this secular government, our own government, that has imposed on people laws that are against everything that's good. So President Trump is a voice in the wilderness in that sense. But they're trying to destroy him and make out that the Democrats are the ones representing the people because they support abortion, they support same-sex marriage, transgender, you name it, they support everything that really is evil. Because if it's not, there's such a thing as right and wrong. If a thing is wrong, laws don't make it right or make something wrong right. It has to be resisted, and President Trump is doing just that. So therefore he's been attacked by the media, who support all these type of anti-life issues by way of abortion and same-sex marriage, euthanasia, assisted suicide, you name it. There's no limit to what they would support. So, but President Trump has the support of many people, not the media that we have in this country, which have been permanently, as far as I'm concerned, anti-US and anti-administration, forgetting that there's 30 million Irish people claiming Irish descent. We now are in a country that has what they call Catholic light. We haven't got bishops and priests that are speaking out against the evils being inflicted in this country, and the fact that lapsed Catholics voted for this is something that the bishops need to take responsibility for. But I'm digressing. In the US, President Trump has a lot of enemies, not least in the Vatican, with the sort of people that are entertaining over there. So I believe he will triumph. If you were to believe the polls, he won't succeed. But I think the polls are completely wrong. President Trump had full employment before this virus that afflicted the world. And the most extraordinary thing that something that come out of nowhere, but of course it come from China, whether accidentally or on purpose, we'll have to just take a rain check on that. Eventually it'll come out, but the chances are that it comes from a communist country who that country doesn't have such a thing called democracy. In other words, that people can express themselves. They cannot do that. So this hasn't helped President Trump, because the media has saw fit to blame him something for it. He's trying to get the country going again. And but the alarmists are making out that it's early days yet. They expect people to be going around wearing masks and going about like something out of some alien from some other galaxy. They are people that are controlling this business have far too much power, and they are using it for certain ends that we at this stage are not too sure about. We've had this problem, for example, in the US as well, of all this business of Black Lives Matter, because a black man was killed by white policemen when they were arresting him. He was a well-known criminal and had committed an awful lot of crimes and been in jail, but that doesn't stop the fact that he was killed in a way that was not good, and it caused all these riots. Now, the funny thing is that they've been orchestrated in some ways and tearing down statues and causing mayhem. Now, the police, the Democratic Party wanted to defund police. They're going with this narrative as if the police are somehow or other dangerous. And they are doing their duty as they see fit. 90%, 99% of them are good. There was an episode there which the media didn't show too good, where two policemen were trying to arrest a black man that had been, people had died 999 because of the way he was driving on a motorway. And they got him. And but they wrestled him to the ground, but he perhaps was in drugs or something, but they couldn't hold him. And the next thing was, he shot the two of them, killed the two policemen. So that's something that didn't hit the airwaves, and a lot of other episodes. So now police in that country are not doing their duty, and so there's riots causing terrible trouble. So President Trump, I think, is dealing with it now because they've knocked down not alone statues for patriots of that country, but also Catholic statues that had nothing to do with colonialism. Quite the reverse, that helped the downtrodden.
It seems that these are all the lefties are going to town on the statues.
You see, this is what the Democrats are gone left, and they support items that no right-thinking person would, and I have a feeling they'll be defeated in the election. The only ones that are pro-life are the Republican Party there. As a matter of fact, up to 12 states in that country have now pro-life policies. They've been objected to by the legal attorneys, who in some cases are Democrats. But a lot of cases in countries, 10 or 12 of them, all have laws now, pro-life, heartbeat laws. But the Democrats are against that.
What's a heartbeat law?
Well, it's where a child that they're going to try to abort, if it has a heartbeat, it's against in these states. It'd be a crime, and they're also instructing doctors where women are seeking such things that they show them on the business of what the child looks like. They're able to do that now, and it might tell the women that what they're doing, they're killing a human being that feels pain. The same as now all this business of isolation with this coronavirus. There seems to be a fear of adults succumbing to this disease, but they've no fear about the babies in a lot of cases. And the Democrats, for example, the poor Clare nuns in that country who look after older folk when others do not look after them, want to sort of finish them off in euthanasia. They look after them and give them their last years in this life is looked after very well by the poor Clare nuns. But they were being harried to sort of for employees that they have to pay for them to be able to know about abortion and that.
Who were the poor Clare nuns?
Well, they were they run homes in the US, but they had been persecuted by the Democrats in those various countries, in those various states, to sort of give staff that they might employ, which wouldn't be that many, but to give them the business of abortion advice and all the rest of this type of thing. And which is against, which they can't do and they wouldn't do.
Are the poor Clare nuns, John? Are they? Is that in reference to County Clare, or is it in Ireland?
No, it's the St. Clare.
St. Clare.
St. Clare, yeah, St. Clare of Assisi, the famous one going back to St. Francis.
Okay.
So that's what they're named after, the poor Clare nuns. And as a matter of fact, in EWTN, Mother Angelica, that founded that famous worldwide Catholic TV station and radio station with upwards of 500 million viewers all over the world, and including in this country. So the poor Clares are a great order, but so they won this second high Supreme Court case, and everybody is very pleased about it, but not the Democratic Party and not the Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden. So it just gives you an idea. Their values are so, to my way of thinking, unchristian and off the wall. It doesn't matter that Biden is regarded as a Catholic. He doesn't have Catholic values, so he should be excommunicated by any right-thinking individual. He's not a Catholic in the full sense of the word, because he couldn't support the issues that he's supporting.
What do you think generally of Biden?
Well, I think he's supposed to be ahead in the polls. He has questions to answer. He had something to do with the Ukraine and his son getting vast sums of money for a suspect, and President Trump went to inquire about it, and suddenly the same Democratic Party is criticising him. So they have an agenda, and I personally hope that they will be annihilated when the election comes for the governors and senators and Congress. That they have a House of Representatives where congressmen are that are elected, and the Democrats have to control that now, which is why we hear so much about them. And of course the media support the views that they stand for. So it shows you see, the trouble with the media in the US, it's not owned by individuals that are anyways pro-life. It's owned by these billionaires that are quite the reverse. They want to inflict all these evils on mankind. So only for the like of President Trump, which is a beacon of hope in a crazy world. But so a lot of people support him, and I certainly support him. I think we did from the very beginning, and I support him again. And I urge anyone that follows the Christian and Jobs Action Party in whatever country that they're in to support President Trump.
Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you.